Could it be? Could it be that it's already Froggy FriYAY? So, let's mix these colours and let's go have some fun. Let's go play. Hello everyone, it's Froggy Friday. I'm Lula and this is NERDGOBLIN Art. So today we're gonna make up a ladybird, or as the Americans and I think Australians call them, ladybugs. I kind of like the name ladybugs, it's kind of cool. So I'm gonna get out my pestle and mortar. The lovely Tina got me that. And I'm gonna mix together the neon red from Let's Resin and red mica powder from Rosifer. I still can't say it, still don't know how to say it properly, but I showed you a picture of it and that's what's important. So I'm gonna mix these two colours together into the pestle and mortar. And it's just a case that the neons are quite chunky and I want a mixture of the colours because I want a cool effect to happen. So I've sped you up on grinding these colours together, and it's just a simple thing that, you know, don't panic if you use pestle and mortar and it's your first time. It's not going to stay to the sides. You get a brush and very gently brush it all down and it doesn't all stick to the sides. This colour is inevitably going to stain it, but that's fine. You know, it's not going to affect any future uses. So thinking of a ladybird, and when you look at pictures of them, they usually have like these little white bits where they're, you know, well, they're not eyes, I guess, they're markings. But I'm going to put those into the Froggy's eyes and also give a little bit of a white lip as well. Because when you do look at the pictures, actually, I'll put a picture up now. Hang on. There we go. There you are, see? There's little like whitey bits on like the side of the head and other spotty bits. So that's what I've kind of done, but I've implemented it like into the frog's eyes anyway. So what I'm doing is I am burnishing in that mixture of the two powders, and I'm only doing the main body of the frog with the colour. I am making an almighty mess because for some reason today I'm not very neat and tidy. So I will have to do a little bit of cleanup. And I wanted to make sure that there is also a gap in between, because as you could see on the picture, and if you've ever looked at ladybirds at length, they do have wings, and the red bit is basically what, you know, covered, and the wings are kind of underneath type thing. They kind of lift up. They're really cool anyway. So I wanted to make sure that they had that little gap in between. And as I said, made a right old mess of this, and the powder, just because obviously I've put it in the pestle and mortar, so it is very, very fine. I'm also wearing a mask. It's not a good idea to be breathing all these bits and these little particles and stuff in, so do make sure if you are going to use a pestle and mortar, I was going to say pestle and mortal then. A pestle and mortar, you know, use your mask. Don't be a donut, you know, be safe. So just used a micro brush with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on there just to tidy up that middle bit, and just making sure, and you know, I always do this. If you've been watching me, well, I always end up wiping away bits that I didn't want to wipe away. But there we go, we live and learn. And I've had to go back in there. That brush still had some of the white on there, the white mica powder from Let's Resin, and I'm just popping a little bit back into the ice part. To be perfectly honest with you, I wasn't too concerned at the same time, because I know that afterwards, if I need to, I can always use any markers for those bits. But you know, but this stuff really did fly everywhere, and it really did make a bit of a mess. And that's why I sped you up, because it really did take a little bit of time to sort that out. Looks like he's wearing a little waistcoat, doesn't he? So when I'm not making more mess, I need to make sure that I'm all happy with it, and while I just move a few things out of the way, then I can start thinking about making like the dots on the shell, where the shell would be. And I'm going to do that quite simply by putting my finger into there like that and just doing the dots with my finger like that. See? I kind of repeated myself twice there, didn't I? Ah, words. But that seemed like the easiest option for this. I didn't want to make it complicated, or too complicated, I should say. And you know, if you're not happy with it, you can always go back in with a brush and tidy it back up again. And I'm just using a micro brush there, just for a little bit of isopropyl alcohol down on my desk, and I'm just tidying up the circles a little bit until I'm happy with them. Of course, the problem with the red is it's very, very red, and you kind of end up re-wiping it down if you don't like change the micro brush up. So just be wary of that, because you just end up wiping more of the colour into the area where you didn't want. And there's an opportunity then as well just to tidy up the edges and stuff like that. So there we go. And give it a last tap and just check in to make absolutely sure it's, you know, cleared from where you don't want it. So this is the black mica powder that I like to use. It is listed down in the description box below, and I'm using Apex resin, and I'll pop a description. I will pop a discount code on the screen for you now. That's NERDGOBLIN 15 for 15% off all products. Don't worry if you've missed it. It is listed in the description box below if you would like to take advantage. I'm also popping in some Super Sparkle White, and I got that from Mini Scenes GB. And as usual, everything where possible I am using is listed below. I'm still using my dual head mixer from Resiners, and as you can see, I've popped in the mica powder and the glitter to give it a really good stir. And what I'm finding with doing it this way is I'm introducing a lot less bubbles, and the Apex resin is brilliant for degassing anyway, and that mixed with using a good mixer, oh well, it makes sense. It really is helping. And I also put a cup down there and give her an extra little spin, and I get off any excess resin that way. And I can add it into anything I need later on, or it just gets to be cleaned out. So there we go. And even using the black with those silicone spatulas, it cleans up really well. So I'm going to be popping this in now, and I'm not going to fill it in all the way to the top. If you are new to resin and you're new to Froggy Friday, hello! I hope you're enjoying, and I hope you do check out everybody's videos, because there are so many talented artists. And if you're new, as I just said, and you're thinking of trying out doing the Froggy mould, the best thing you can do is fill it so far and then spray with isopropyl alcohol. But if you have burnished in any mica powders or pigments of any sort, don't spray it until there's resin in there, because you could end up undoing a bunch of the work that you've already done. So fill it up so far and then spray your isopropyl alcohol. You can use a long neck lighter if you don't have a heat gun, but just be wary when you're using isopropyl alcohol, you could cause flames. So give it a good few minutes to settle and then use your long neck lighter. So please be careful. You know, it is a chemical and it can be dangerous, and you don't want to lose your eyebrows. That's why I prefer using my heat gun. Those are, you can get them from Temu if you haven't got a great deal of money, but they're not that expensive. You can get them from Amazon for reasonably priced, and if you're going to be doing it for this, it is worth having good stuff. I don't even remember what brand this is. I've just had it since I started doing resin in May last year, and it works really well. So I have filled it up now, and just being very careful with using the heat gun, because as you can see there, you can end up blowing a little bit of the resin over the edges. So just be careful with that, because I obviously wasn't. And I'm using my silicone tool there. As you can see, I'm going underneath the chin, because that's where the bubbles like to hide and sit. Because it doesn't matter, if you put them through the debubbler machine or whatnot, the bubbles will still fall. And it's part of the chemical reaction of the resin when it's mixed. So, they just like to stick around by there. And of course I've made up enough resin to do our little friends, because our LadyFrog needs little friends, just like Froggy did last week. So don't worry, I'm not on a full-on kick with insects. It's just that it just felt right. It's it's springtime here in the UK, and I did actually see my first ladybird yesterday, sitting on my car, just enjoying life. And I've been seeing bumblebees and stuff recently coming back around, which is really cool. So yeah, it's all fun, and because I saw that a ladybird sitting on my car, I thought, yeah, let's do a LadyFrog. It's a good idea. So with these little froggies, I'm basically doing exactly the same. They are a little bit more difficult in the sense that they are small, and trying to clean them up was a little difficult with getting into like the arm sections. And of course these molds are from Temu, and they are matte molds, but that's absolutely fine. If you want to keep them matte, just keep them matte. Otherwise you can either varnish them, or you can do what I'll be doing later in the video, which is giving them a UV covering, and it's easily done, and I'll show you how if you are new to it or if you're not sure. Subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for your likes and your comments, your shares. I truly appreciate it. And also to my members for your continued support. I really, really do appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming one. It helps my channel, it helps me with my content, and it makes me feel good, and it makes me do a little happy dance like that little froggy's doing right now, although it looks kind of rude a little bit, but he's dancing, promise, he's dancing. But please do. And you can also hit the little bell that's down there, and that means that you're not going to miss any uploads, so that's really cool as well. So thank you. With these ones, because they're so small, I'm just putting on a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, which I've sprayed onto my silicone mat, and I've got a micro brush there, and I'm just dotting in some little spot areas where I want the black to come through. So that is what we're gonna do, and hopefully it will work. Now excuse me, if you happen to get these molds, they're a bit funny compared to the large ones. The flow isn't so good with it, so you've got to go slow and steady, because the arms, you do need to encourage the resin into the little toesies and stuff. So just be aware with that, because I have found that the resin doesn't just freely like flow up into the space. You end up making a bit of a mess. So just be aware of that, and use your silicone tool or whatever it is that you prefer using. Could be a dotting tool, just to encourage the resin to make its way into the ends of those little toes. And you can also use that for making sure no bubbles are formed into the toes as well, because inevitably, because you're moving it around, you're going to encourage bubbles. And you can also use your silicone tool, just like on the larger frog with these little ones, is to scoop out any possible bubbles from underneath the froggo's chin. So these are going to cure, and I will be using my heat mat because I am impatient. So here they are, they're all cured, and unusually I am going to unmold the larger frog first, because they're kind of done the same way. So I want it to be, I want the main event I want him to be the main event, so I don't want the little ones to take away from that, but the little ones are awesome anyway. So I always find that loosening his toes first and breaking that seal underneath the chin really helps with the mould in this frog. I have not I have not sped this up. So as you can see, loosened, taken over the hips, then a little bit of a wiggle, and that mould is off. That easy. So at first I was like, oh, it's not worked, but it's so bright in my studio today. And I was like, hang on a minute, I use neons, so it's kind of a magic frog. Ready? A magic ladybug. Isn't that cool? I think that's super cool. Really pleased with that. Super cool magic frog. He's so magic, he doesn't know. So that's a very, very, very cool effect going on there. And we're not going to see much of it with the little froggies because they are matte, but you will see the color difference. But we're gonna see to that in a minute. So check that out. So they're magic. They're very, very magical. Isn't that cool? We didn't mean to do that, but we did it. Red can be a pickle. If I'd have added more red mica, I think, to the mix, I think it possibly would have made a little bit of a difference. But honestly, I am really pleased with this. Really, really pleased with it. Just giving it a little bit of a charge up there, but check that out. It's magical. I keep saying it's magical. I know, I'm sad. I'm sorry. But that it works for me. I'm happy. At first I was a bit like, oh no, it didn't work. But then, you know what? Happy accidents. As Bob Ross would say, there's no mistake, just happy accidents. So I am very, very pleased with this. So I'm going to be doing a few things with these froggos, and a few people commented after the fantastic Froggabees. 2 subscribers said about, have you ever considered drilling in to the frogs for like any wings or antennas? And yes, I had considered it. I really had. And I thought that I was a bit of a liability for doing such things. But I had a little chat with Mr. Goblin, and he assured me that he would stay close by. You know, and he kind of gave me a good bit of like assurance that I could do it and I wasn't going to break anything. And he fitted me up with this little drill that I'm going to use in a few moments. But for the time being, I'm making the little antennas, and I'm doing the same as what I did with the Froggabees. So I'm just using some wire, and that's just you can pick it up anywhere really. I think people use them for jewelry wrapping perhaps. I personally use it for clay work, for adding structure and stuff to the inside of clay makes. Yeah, and I'm also using little pom-poms. I haven't made them. These are from like kiddies package, you know, packages of craft supplies. So I delve into my kids' little supply and managed to find some more black pom-poms. And I'm just being super lazy, and I'm using some UV resin to attach them. The lamp I'm going to put on now, the torch works well, and that's fine. So this is how I gloss up basically these matte molds. You can use silicone brushes and stuff if you like, but I just find it easier using my finger, and that's how simple it is. Just putting a little bit on and going all over the mold, and then popping it under your lamp. But you do need them to go on, or to go under, for 5 minutes or more, because you know they can feel sometimes a little bit sticky. So if they are, make sure you're using your lamp for a longer period, and if that fails, you can always do the water trick. So check that out. I'm not so happy with the I managed to not fill the one eye in enough, so I'm just using this I think it's like a pearl marker. It's a JDiction one. I can't quite remember what it's called, but it's from the set, and I will put that in the description words. I keep mixing everything up, don't I? I will pop it in the description box below. It is part of a set, and that will also get a UV coating, just to make sure that it doesn't get worn away if it's touched. So here we go. Moving you back a little bit, and this is the little drilly thingy that Mr. Goblin set me up with, and this is mine now. Apparently it's mine. I get to keep it on my shelf. So it's got like a switch on the top for, you know, for going like in, and then you flick it to the other side to come out. So that's cool. And I didn't break anything. I didn't break myself. And I've got, this is a heavy duty piece of card. It's really, really thick. It's from like a construction box. Couldn't find a block of wood to rest on. And, you know, Mr. Goblin said this was absolutely fine, because, you know. So there we go. I didn't want to drill it directly onto my desk. It's an electric desk, and I love my desk. I love that I can pop it up and down. So I'm just making sure that I was happy with the depth of the drill holes for these antennas to go into. And the good thing is, if you're not happy with it, you just pop them straight back out and you can have another go. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how easy this was. I don't know why I was so worried about doing it previously, but as subscribers mentioned it, I thought, no, let's give this a go and stop being silly. So I'm looking forward to, you know, doing this again on any other makes that I may add wings to, because it would give them a lot better structure, and I think it'd look much tidier as well. So happy with that. And all I'm gonna do, you could, I'm guessing you could possibly use like regular glue, like E6000 or whatever it is, but I knew that this would be fine. So remembering that lamp was on, so I put a little bit of blob of the UV resin on my desk. I just put the end of that wire into it and just popped it into the drilled hole. And I can use my silicone tool then to pick up the same little dobbins of the UV resin from the desk, just to fill up to the top. And that can go under the lamp as well. And it's much neater than, you know, what I did with the Froggy. I basically folded the end of the wire and placed it onto the head. So this looks so much better. But yeah, so you can do it, subscribers. There you go. I'm very sorry, I can't remember. There was two subscribers, but I can't remember who. To tie in with the look of the ladybird, I've decided to use a black marker on the metal because it's quite easily covered up, just to tie in with it. Sometimes I like the bare metal to still be there, like I especially like it on the Fragon and the Froggies, but on this guy I wanted them to be coloured in black, because they're very much that way in the picture. So there you go, and that looks really good. Check him out. He's showing a bit more up in the colouring. Oh, look at his little face. And look, his little antennas. And because they're drilled in, they're a little bit easier to move, and I'm a bit more confident with moving them. I wish the camera was picking it up as well. He's so sparkly. The super sparkle white has really picked up in the black portion of the body, but it's such a bright day, it is hard to get any good pictures. So hopefully it'll pick up in the glamour shots, but check them out. I also did the same with the little ones that I drilled into these as well, and I'm quite proud because they are tiny, they are very, very small, but it worked. And they're super cute. And they're magic. La 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 la, they're so magic. The magic LadyFrogs adds to the mystery. How cool is that? I love the thought of them being magical. There, but it's not quite there, but then you shine a special light and you can see it. It's really cool. And they got their little antennas, and they do their froggy kiss ready. Mwah. Oh, I'm so pleased. I hope you enjoyed watching. It's fun. It is really great fun. Please check out the collaboration list below. Love you and stay weird.
Full of colors and swirls, Nerd Goblin art draws a magic world, with foxes that prance and badgers that dance, a whirlwind of dreams with a single glance. Gerald the alligator grins so wide, in enchanted waters he loves to hide. Dragons breathe wonder with flames so bright, each creature born from a magic night. Nerd Goblin paints life in every brush, animals frolic in a vibrant rush. From canvases to tales they leap, in a realm where fantasy meets deep. The studio's alive with swirling paint, creatures so pure they need no saint. Sketches of foxes with tails Resiners with moonlit fur in flight. Gerald floats in a stream of dreams. Dragons shimmer with ethereal beams. Nerd goblins' laughs fill the space. In every stroke there's a warm embrace. Nerd goblin paints life in every brush. Animals frolic in a vibrant rush. From canvases to